Imagine you're driving home. You glance into your mirror and you see a police car behind you. Then, suddenly, red and blue lights come on. Your heart sinks. Your mind starts racing. Was I speeding? Did I miss a stop sign? What did I do? You turn your signal on and you pull over to the shoulder. The police car pulls in right behind you. For the vast majority of people, that's exactly how the story goes. The officer walks up, you get a warning, maybe you get a ticket, then everyone goes on with their day. But every officer knows eventually someone won't stop. Instead of slowing down, they press harder on the gas, and in an instant, routine traffic stop transforms into one of the most dangerous situations an officer can face. But the pursuit isn't defined by the moment the vehicle takes off. It's defined by all the decisions that happened before, during, and after. Because every officer has to make critical choices before they even know what they're dealing with. Every pursuit is different. Some last 20 seconds, some last an hour, some end peacefully, and others become national headlines. But behind every chase is an officer trying to balance one impossible question. Is the danger created by continuing this pursuit greater than the danger created by allowing this person to escape? Today, we'll walk through an entire police pursuit, step by step, from the very first suspicious moment to everything that happens after the handcuffs go on. Because the chase is actually only half the story. So let's rewind to the moment before the lights ever come on. An officer notices something that catches their attention. A traffic violation, a vehicle connected to a crime, or a driver who suddenly starts speeding up, making one turn after another, clearly trying to evade an officer. The officer doesn't know why the driver is acting this way, but they have their suspicion. Maybe the vehicle is stolen. Maybe the driver has warrants. Maybe they're impaired. Or maybe it's nothing more than a routine traffic violation and the driver simply decided they weren't going to stop. Whatever the reason, the officer now has only seconds to assess what's happening and decide what comes next. The officer activates his lights, and before the vehicle even has a chance to decide whether they're going to stop or not, the officer is already preparing mentally. Their location, traffic conditions, school zones, construction, weather, time of day, pedestrians, other officers nearby. Then the officer has to communicate all relevant information to dispatch, including vehicle description, license plate, direction of travel, reason for the stop. And this isn't just for future paperwork, it's a safety net. Because if something goes wrong, everyone now knows where that officer is and potentially where they're headed. Then comes one of the most important moments of the entire encounter. The driver doesn't stop. He continues speeding up. Now everything changes. The officer weighs every one of those variables and decides whether to pursue or not. And even then, a supervisor listening miles away has the ultimate say. They can authorize or terminate the pursuit. Policies exist because innocent people have been killed during pursuits, so the questions never stop. What crime occurred? How dangerous is this driver? How much traffic is ahead? Can air support follow? Can investigators just arrest them later based on identification? Sometimes the safest decision is letting the suspect go. That surprises many people. But catching someone today means nothing if innocent people die getting there. When the pursuit is approved, everything speeds up. Literally, the adrenaline hits instantly. Heart rate skyrockets, vision narrows, years of training takes over. The officer isn't trying to win, they're trying to stay alive and apprehend the suspect. Radio traffic becomes constant. Speed, direction, cross streets, traffic, vehicle behavior. Every few seconds, dispatch updates every responding officer. Other units begin moving into position. Intersections become especially dangerous. Even with lights and sirens, people don't always hear or see police vehicles until the very last second. And the suspect is unpredictable. They might drive into oncoming traffic, blow through red lights, jump medians, drive across lawns, crash through fences, and every unexpected move forces the pursuing officer to react instantly. Because if they overreact, they become the next crash. And all of this is happening while traveling at highway speeds. But here's something most people never realize. The officer isn't only watching the suspect, they're watching everyone else too. The family pulling out of the gas station, the teenager texting at a stoplight, the jogger with his headphones. The suspect is focused on one thing, getting away. And that desperation can make their actions unpredictable and dangerous for everyone around them. But everyone else, they don't know that they're in the middle of a pursuit. And the numbers show exactly why that matters. Roughly 1 out of every 3 people killed in a pursuit crash isn't the fleeing driver and isn't an officer. It's a bystander. And that's the reason a pursuit quickly becomes bigger than just the 2 vehicles involved. And behind the scenes, a coordinated response begins. A single patrol car becomes multiple units working together to safely end the pursuit. Some stay behind, some move ahead. Others prepare tire deflation devices like stop sticks, and even those aren't what the movies show. They don't blow the tires out, they leak air slowly over several seconds. Because a blowout at 100 miles an hour doesn't stop a car, it turns it into a missile. Some officers shut down streets and intersections, and while all this is happening, a supervisor is constantly evaluating whether continuing is still justified. Modern policing isn't simply catch at all cost, it's constant risk management. Technology has changed pursuits dramatically. GPS tracking systems, helicopters, drones, license plate readers, video cameras, all of these tools give officers more options, allowing them to identify, track, and apprehend suspects without relying only on a high-speed chase. Eventually, every pursuit ends, just usually not the way Hollywood portrays it. No shooting out tires, no jumping rivers, no patrol cars flying through the air. Real police pursuits are a lot less cinematic and a lot more calculated. Sometimes police end the chase on their own terms. A patrol car pulls alongside, taps the fleeing car's rear quarter panel, and it spins to a stop. This is called a pit maneuver. On video, it almost looks gentle, but it isn't. Most departments only allow it at lower speeds because beyond that, it stops being a technique and becomes a crash. Some suspects realize they're trapped, and they just pull over. Others lose control. Some abandon the vehicle and run, and that's when the chase often changes from horsepower to footwork. Running after someone sounds simple, but it isn't. Now officers are dealing with fences, yards, woods, darkness, unknown weapons, and exhaustion. One wrong corner and the suspect could be waiting. Every doorway, every parked car, every backyard could hide someone desperate enough to fight, which is why officers rarely sprint blindly around corners. Slow can actually be faster if it keeps everyone alive. Eventually, the suspect is located. Commands are shouted, hands become visible, and the rest begins. And that's where most people think it ends. But it doesn't. There's hours of work to begin. The suspect is searched, weapons secured, medical checks if needed, the vehicle is searched or impounded according to the law and department policy, evidence is photographed, dash camera footage is preserved, body camera footage is tagged, witnesses may need interviews. Every officer involved writes reports and sometimes writes multiple reports because a single pursuit can leave behind dozens of victims. Property owners, innocent drivers, passengers, businesses, insurance companies. Every damaged vehicle, every broken fence, every destroyed mailbox, every crash has to be documented. That's why every major decision during the pursuit must be explained. Why did it begin? Why did it continue? Why didn't it stop sooner? Every second can later be reviewed by supervisors, prosecutors, defense attorneys, and sometimes millions of people online. Sometimes even the Supreme Court. In 2007, the justices reviewed a pursuit that began with a 19-year-old speeding on a Georgia highway and ended with him paralyzed after a deputy rammed him with his car. For the first time in history, the court posted the dashcam video on its own website so the public could watch exactly what the justices watched. They ruled 8-1 that the deputy's decision was reasonable. The single tape helped shape how every modern pursuit is judged. A police pursuit moves incredibly fast. Decisions are made in seconds, and officers are communicating while driving. Supervisors are evaluating the pursuit in real time, and there is no pause button. Only after the chase ends does the pace finally slow down. And the goal is to end the situation with everyone making it home safely, including the suspect, even if their next stop is a jail cell. Sometimes the best police pursuit is the one that never happens. Police pursuits are some of the most heavily scrutinized events in law enforcement. Every decision is measured in seconds, but judged for years. Police pursuits remain one of the most debated parts of law enforcement. Some believe pursuing a fleeing driver is necessary to hold dangerous people accountable. Others believe the risk to innocent people are too great and that some pursuits create more danger than they prevent. The reality is that every pursuit forces officers to make impossible decisions in uncertain situations. A few seconds can determine whether a suspect escapes or whether everyone involved makes it home safely. And that is what makes police pursuits so complicated. If you enjoyed this breakdown, subscribe to Cop Lore. We explore moments most people don't think about and explain what really happens behind the badge.